Hello and welcome to Mr. Recap. Today we see the most enjoyable Marvel series on Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel is the most agreeable Marvel series that has debuted on Disney+. This series comprises 6 episodes and follows a teen young lady called Kamala Khan. She finds herself to have superpowers like her objects of worship, the Avengers. Before seeing this series, let's short introduction about Kamala Khan aka Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan is a 16-year-old Pakistani-American student from Jersey City who fantasizes about her most loved superhero, Captain Marvel. In the comics, Khan was presented in 2013's Captain Marvel and before getting her independent series which appeared in February 2014. The joint exertion of Sana Amanat, Stephen Wacker, G. Willow Wilson, Adrian Alphona, and Jamie McKelvey made Marvel's most memorable Muslim person to feature a comic book series, as well as exhibiting a few conflicts between the nominal superheroine and miscreant, the Miss Marvel. Comic books investigated Khan's otherworldliness in a few events. Let us look at the first season and episode 1. Kamala Khan starts to portray and sets out a solid groundwork for herself as the best Captain Marvel. In the post-blip world, Kamala runs a YouTube channel and her substance is about the world's mightiest legends. We learn about AvengerCon, a Comic-Con-like event happening unprecedented for New Jersey, and Kamala as needing to cosplay as Captain Marvel. After a short time, we are familiar with Kamala's people Muniba and Yusuf, who seem like conventional Pakistani Indian gatekeepers, and her senior kin Amir, whose wedding is near the corner. Kamala ventures through a driving assessment and incapably flops after truly hurting the vehicle of the driving educator, and her dream about participating in AvengerCon, all the while assuming a pretense of finishing things for her kin's wedding, is momentarily broken. The story takes us to Kamala's school and we get to meet Bruno Corelli, Kamala's dearest friend, and a couple of standard youthful oppressive jerks, yet none exorbitantly impacting. School consultant Gabe calls Kamala to his office and plunks down with her to figure out about arranging life in the future, where we get to understand that things haven't been going flawlessly for her of late, for the most part, due to being occupied with the fantasies inside her head. Bruno later prescribes Kamala's request to her mother to permit her to go to AvengerCon and she moves past him completely. Meanwhile, Muniba gets a holder of stuff from her mother and Kamala becomes amped up for the stuff inside when she sees a gigantic bangle. In any case, her mother snatches it from her right away and orders her to stay away from anything with the cartoon since it was trash. While Bruno sets up an Alexa-like system made by him at Kamala's home with a happy Yusuf, Muniba takes her to finish her. Bound with Ahmed Rashdi's famous Kokorina tune, the scene quickly moves to the area and we are familiar with Najaf, a halal food merchant is known to the Khan, and a short time later to a dress shop where Muniba runs into a partner, a woman of her age who cries about her young lady going to an investigating trip in Europe and getting close to a Gora kid. Kamala hears this and says that it is perfect for the young lady, preceding the gathering with a scornful response from both her mother and the woman. At home, she finally amasses her mettle and directly asks whether she can go to AvengerCon with Bruno, to which her mother, exactly as expected, seems to have a few qualms. Exactly when she indicates that she will wear a Captain Marvel gathering, Muniba gets madder since she finds that outfit tight. Kamala gets confused and starts to holler about how she has no an open door, interestingly, with her kin who has all the open door in the world. Then steps out of the room immediately. Late around nighttime, Amir endeavors to comfort Kamala about this and responsibility her that he will endeavor to convince their mother about the AvengerCon. The next morning, unquestionably her mother permits her to go to AvengerCon, yet moreover hangs a remarkable condition, which is to wear a green salwar kameez to dress as Hulk and go with her father, who blasts into the room cosplaying as Hulk. Muniba further suggests that they go as Huge Hulk, Little Hulk. Kamala draws back at this and explodes, which makes her father hopeless and her mother disavows the ascent again. Bruno meets a broke Kamala and endeavors to empower her by telling her how bewildering she is in the way that finally the Watchman will come around. He in like manner gives her a glove arranged by him which enlightens them and they start mock doing combating on the rooftop. Kamala over the long haul thinks about a game plan of getting away from her home with the help of Bruno's security structure camouflaging every one of the times her father endeavors to go into her room. The game plan seems, by all accounts, to be past absurd and altogether more testing to execute anyway. They decide to continue it fundamentally because of her unbelievable hankering to go to the event. Upon Bruno's thought, Kamala takes the bangle from that case, as the cosplaying contention needs every contender to bring something of their own that trends to their lifestyle. Kamala and Bruno set out for the AvengerCon, yet nothing goes as indicated by the plan. Regardless, they really sort out some way to show up at Camp Lee, which is the event scene. They are stunned to find Zoe there, who is similarly doing a Captain Marvel troop. Kamala gets aggravated as Zoe isn't even an Avengers fan anyway. Bruno demands that she dismiss it. Kamala and Bruno end up having heaps of horseplay. Ultimately, the Captain Marvel cosplaying challenge will start. Nevertheless, not long before the resistance, Kamala neglects to recollect her gloves in the washroom. Bruno demands that she get up to the stage regardless, as there is no way to return and bring the gloves. Kamala wears the bangle in her grip, and only resulting to wearing it she feels a sensation around her whole body and we see a blue shine around her. She similarly ends up different in a spot with loads of shadowy figures with blue light all over momentarily. With every one of the blasting lights and everything around, Kamala somehow throws a blue energy influence and a couple of more energy influences after that. She is stunned at this point. The adjudicators and every other individual think she is doing that intentionally and they are astounded. One of her energy influences hit a significant Ant-Man design and its head falls, causing a movement of miserable debacles that to happen in practically no time, and things become extremely fierce where Zoe gets hit by a show of Mjolnir. Not well before Zoe tumbles to the ground, Kamala somehow extends her hand with a comparable blue shine encompassing it and sorts out some way to save her. Bruno and Kamala leave the scene, and returning Kamala tells him maybe she has a superpower while Bruno is perplexed and confounded. He promises not to tell anyone. Kamala goes into her room, much later than when she ought to as per the course of action, and tracks down her mother there. Muniba conveys her must step in this rebellious show of Kamala and demands that she drop all the obsession with a couple of dreams and focus on her life, study, and family. After she leaves, Kamala looks at the bangle in her grip and another blue light sparkles around it. Let us talk about the post-credit scene first, which is a clear tie-up to the Spider-Man films, exactly Homecoming and No Way Home, where the same people appear as damage control employees. The man was last seen interviewing Peter Parker, Ned Leeds, and MJ. Same person see the video about Miss Marvel powers, and they will decide to see her. Episode 1 is complete, and we'll see you tomorrow for episode 2. Thank you.